The spaceport clock insisted it was morning, though nothing about the light agreed with it. The man trusted the clock anyway, because the clock had a license issued by the Interstellar Transit Authority and therefore could not legally be wrong. He sat with his back against a charging pillar that hummed like it was thinking very hard, watching his child dismantle a snack packet that clearly stated in 3 languages it was not meant to be dismantled. "This is taking too long," the child said, holding up a strip of glowing foil. "By the time we leave, I'll be old enough to grow my own beard." "You're 7, the man said. "If you grow a beard before lunch, we're calling a doctor or a priest, possibly both." The child sighed, with the theatrical exhaustion of someone who had been waiting exactly 12 minutes. Around them, travelers passed in drifting clusters, some floating, some rolling, some moving on legs that bent in ways the man had long ago stopped questioning. Announcements echoed in overlapping voices, one of them apologizing for a delay caused by a wormhole that had decided to be somewhere else today. The man absently rubbed his forearm, where an old tattoo peeked out from beneath his sleeve. He barely remembered getting it. A long night, a longer conversation, a borrowed needle that had definitely not been approved for cross-species use. It had seemed romantic at the time. Everything seemed romantic before responsibility showed up with paperwork. He felt it then, the stare, not hostile, not curious, focused. He looked up and found an alien child standing a short distance away. The child didn't fidget, didn't bounce, didn't look at the passing spectacle of the galaxy's largest transportation hub. Long ears curved back from their head, elegant and still. Their eyes were locked on his arm. The man smiled politely, the universal expression for "please don't be about to accuse me of something." "Hey there," he said. "If you're selling something, I don't have credits, tokens, favors, or emotional availability." The child didn't answer. They stepped closer, slow and deliberate, as if the floor might argue. The man's own child leaned over. "Dad," they whispered loudly, "that kid is staring at you like you owe them money." "I probably do," the man whispered back. "I owe half the galaxy money." The alien child stopped just in front of him and lowered their voice, as if sharing a secret with the universe itself. "My mother has that same tattoo." The words landed wrong. Not loud, not dramatic, just misplaced like a shoe left in a refrigerator. The man laughed because laughter was easier than thinking. "That'd be impressive," he said. "It's not exactly mass-produced." The child tilted their head. "She said it was unique, she said it mattered." "Well," the man said, "parents say lots of things. Mine said I was a good idea." The child did not smile. They leaned closer, eyes narrowing with unsettling certainty. "She said it was from before she knew she would leave." Something cold slid through the man's chest, sharp and unwelcome. His child, sensing a shift, abandoned the snack debris and scooted closer. "Dad," they said, "why do they talk like they're in a mystery show?" "I don't know," he said, though his voice had lost its humor. "Kid, where's your parent?" The alien child gestured vaguely toward the deeper lanes of the spaceport. "Working. She does not expect to see you." "That makes 2 of us," the man muttered. A service drone drifted past and paused, its eye flicking between them. "Please refrain from forming emotionally significant revelations in high-traffic areas," it said. "For your safety." "Get in line," the man told it. The child reached out, not touching, just hovering near his arm. "She said you wouldn't know," they whispered. "She said humans don't notice when the universe changes its mind." The man swallowed. He tried to think of a joke, something about the universe needing better communication skills. Something about tattoos being trendy across species. None of it fit anymore. "Dad," his child said softly, "do I have a sibling?" The man looked at the alien child again, at the unblinking certainty, at the weight of a past he had packed away and labeled finished. "I think," he said slowly, "we might be about to miss our flight." Somewhere beyond them, a woman's voice called a name in a language he hadn't heard in years. His heart recognized it before his mind did. The name echoed again, closer this time, threaded through the overlapping noise of the spaceport like a memory that had learned to speak. The man stood before he realized he was standing, his child gripping his sleeve with the intensity of someone who had just discovered reality was more flexible than advertised. "I didn't do anything," he said automatically, to no one in particular. "That's usually what people say right before security arrives," his child replied. Security did arrive, but not in the dramatic way the galaxy's entertainment feeds promised. A floating cube drifted over, blinking a polite amber. "Unscheduled emotional convergence detected," it said. "Do you require mediation, translation, or a certified hug?" "No hugging," the man said. "We're fragile." The alien child glanced between them, then toward the voice calling their name. "She's coming," they said, not as a warning, more like a fact of physics. She arrived carrying irritation like a well-practiced skill. Her long ears twitched once when she saw the man, then froze. Time did something unhelpful. The man's brain offered him several things to say, including hello, sorry, and wow, you aged better than my coping mechanisms. He said none of them. "So," she said at last, switching to a human language with the ease of someone who had learned it from laughter and arguments rather than lessons. "You exist." "I've been told," he said, "occasionally by tax agencies." Their eyes dropped to his arm, the tattoo. The silence stretched until his child filled it. "Hi," they said brightly. "If this is a family thing, I should mention I get hungry under stress." The alien woman blinked, once, twice. A sound escaped her that might have been a laugh or might have been the universe clearing its throat. "You brought your offspring to a transgalactic transfer hub. Single parenting builds character," he said, "mostly theirs." The security cube rotated. "Clarification required. Are these juveniles genetically linked?" "That's a loaded question," the man said. The alien woman exhaled slowly. "We should talk," she said. "Somewhere that does not sell explosive snacks." They ended up in a mediation alcove that claimed neutrality but smelled faintly of fear and disinfectant. A translation field shimmered to life, promptly mislabeling the man as a potential emotional hazard. His child poked at it. "Dad, you're a warning sign." The alien child sat calmly, swinging their legs. "I told you," they said to their mother. "The universe remembered him." The woman closed her eyes. "I hoped it wouldn't." Humor tried to resurface. "In my defense," the man said, "I'm very forgettable." "That," she said, opening her eyes again, "was never the problem." Words came slowly after that, like old machinery restarting. She spoke of her world's assumptions, of biology that didn't ask permission, of a brief connection she had believed safely impossible. He spoke of leaving, of thinking the chapter was closed, of never imagining the galaxy would footnote him back into the story. The translation field coughed. "Emotional intensity exceeding recommended levels," it warned. "Would a joke assist?" "Yes," his child said. "Please deploy joke." "Knock knock," the field said. "No," all three adults said at once. The alien woman's gaze softened despite herself when she looked at the two children, already leaning toward each other, comparing snacks as if ancestry were just another interesting detail. "They adapt quickly," she said. "Kids are resilient," the man replied. "They also ask a lot of questions." As if summoned, his child raised a hand. "So, are we related, or is this like when Dad accidentally joined a cult and thought it was a book club?" The alien woman smiled then, a small, real one. "It is complicated," she said, "and very inconvenient." The man nodded. "That's usually how the important things start." The mediation alcove eventually gave up on pretending this was a temporary situation. A panel slid open, and a different kind of official appeared, this one shaped like a polite argument. "Custodial ambiguity detected," it said. "Initiating interspecies family protocol." "I don't like the sound of that," the man said. "Neither did my parents," his child replied. "They still had me." The alien woman crossed her arms, long ears angling back as she thought. "On my world," she said, "family is defined by continuity, not origin." "That's comforting," the man said. and mildly terrifying. Forms appeared in the air, glowing softly. The translation field struggled. "Please indicate parental intent," it said. The man stared at the floating options, then at the alien child, who met his gaze without fear. He felt something settle inside him, a quiet click where uncertainty used to live. "I intend," he said slowly, "to stop pretending this doesn't matter." The alien woman looked at him then, really looked, as if measuring not who he had been but who he was choosing to be. "That," she said, "is more than I expected." The children were already negotiating territory. "I get the top bunk," the human child said. "We do not use bunks," the alien child replied. "We stack sleep chronologically." "That's worse," the human child said, "but interesting." The official paused. "Family unit confirmed pending mutual agreement." The alien woman sighed, a sound heavy with years of careful solitude. "I did not tell you because I thought it would break you," she said, "or complicate you." He smiled faintly. "You should see my life. Complication is a hobby." Time passed in small decisions rather than grand gestures. Routes were rerouted. Flights were missed. A new itinerary formed itself around something less measurable than distance. The spaceport clock ticked on, slightly offended by the disregard for schedules. At some point, the man realized he was laughing without trying. At a joke the alien woman made about human coffee being a controlled substance. At the way the children translated for each other, inventing words where none existed. At the absurdity of finding a future in a place designed only for passing through. "You know," his child said later, "this means our family tree is going to be very confusing." The man nodded. "That's okay. Trees grow in strange directions." The alien woman stood beside him, not touching, but close enough that the space between them felt intentional rather than empty. "My world will have questions," she said. "So will mine," he replied. "We can disappoint them together." The official returned one last time. "Final confirmation required," it said. "Are you prepared to acknowledge cross-species kinship with legal, emotional, and existential implications?"